Well, the game of football has taught me so many things, man. Now, think about the huddle we have right now, right? I tell people this all the time. There's a reason why they call it a huddle. People have been huddling all their lives, trying to find ways to enhance each other's lives. The great teams do that all the time. The great teams do that. The better the huddle, the better the team. And so it's simple, man, how if you huddle for all the right reasons, we wouldn't have Ferguson. We wouldn't have some of the challenges that we have in our society. But as we all know, there's always a moment when somebody doesn't belong in the huddle. And yet we have to continue to move on. We got to continue to play. So the game of life, man, is always starting with the huddle. And for me, I'm lucky enough to know that, by the graces of God, man, it's been a nice huddle. It's been a nice huddle. And if I just keep making sure that he's in front of me, I'm gonna be all right.
Welcome to FootballGameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our preview of the college football playoffs semifinals in the 2016 PlayStation Fiesta Bowl between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Clemson Tigers. Now let's start this video off by taking a look at our keys to victory. First, let's start with Ohio State in this ball game. It's about getting quarterback J.T. Barrett into an early rhythm throwing the football. We know he's an outstanding runner of that zone read option for this Ohio State offense, but getting him in an early rhythm passing the football just opens up their entire offense. Defensively, it's about challenging Mike Williams with physicality. I love the secondary of Ohio State, and if they can get physical at the line of scrimmage with all of these wide receivers for Clemson, it throws off their timing and it forces Deshaun Watson to hold the football a little bit longer than he wants to. But I think Mike Williams is the key. Jamming him at the line of scrimmage or rerouting him or disrupting that timing can help them out defensively, and also staying active at the line of scrimmage. As talented as Deshaun Watson is as a passer, I think at times he tends to flatline passes, which means you can get tip balls, which could ultimately turn into interceptions. And for Clemson in this ball game, getting tight end Jordan Leggett involved early, I think could then open up a lot of things for their passing game offensively. I like what Leggett brings to the table. He's tremendous after the catch. His route running is outstanding. He's going to find himself open more often than not. If they can feed him the football early, it makes things easier for their offense against this very tough Buckeye defense. I think they also have to find ways to create opportunities for Tavian Feaster, the outstanding blazing freshman tailback, who can be their answer to Curtis Samuel of Ohio State. If they can get Feaster involved in space, find ways to utilize him and Wayne Gallman in the backfield at the same time, I think could open up this Clemson offense. And defensively, I think versus Ohio State is just about remaining gap sound. You want to force J.T. Barrett to stay within that tackle-to-tackle box, allow your defensive line to be aggressive within their gap responsibilities, so that way they can play the run better, put Ohio State in backed up situations, and make this game a J.T. Barrett versus Deshaun Watson game, which I think favors Clemson heavily. The biggest X factor in this game for Ohio State is safety Malik Hooker. I think with his versatility, with his athleticism, and most importantly, his instincts and ball skills make him a huge player in this ball game. I love how they're able to move him around the formation. He can play back deep like a traditional safety. He can play within the box in the intermediate area in the zone or man coverage on tight ends or wide receivers. I think this is a guy who's that chess piece that they can move around and find ways to create success defensively. So Malik Hooker, I think, will play a huge role in the outcome of this ball game. And for Clemson, linebacker Ben Boulware has to be active and aggressive versus the run. Clemson's defensive line, I think, will do a solid job in maintaining the line of scrimmage and not allowing those linemen to get to the second level. So they're going to need a guy like Ben Boulware, their leader on defense, to step up in the hole and meet that running game at or behind the line of scrimmage. If he can't do a great job versus the run, then Ohio State will be able to run this football down the throats of the Clemson Tigers. Here's a look at some of the pro prospects you want to keep an eye on in this ball game, and I've limited this list to a lot of the senior prospects and a few juniors that have already declared, like Deshaun Watson, Mike Williams, also Wayne Gallman. But you look at a guy like Curtis Samuel, who has yet to declare, but I love his versatility. He can play receiver or running back. You put the football in his hands and he can make something happen. But one of the biggest matchups I'm going to be excited to watch is between center Pat Elflein and also Carlos Watkins on the inside. To me, that's the matchup that could determine who wins this ball game. I like Clemson in this ball game. I think all things being considered, both defenses will show up ready to play. Both offenses will have their bouts of inconsistency against that other defense, but I think it will ultimately come down to which quarterback can you trust to make key plays in the passing game. And to me, that is Deshaun Watson and what he can do with the weapons that he has available. He'll be able to put the ball in tight spaces, make those tight window throws, make those clutch throws versus pressure, all of which will show why he's one of the best, if not the best quarterback in college football and one of the best NFL draft prospects in the country.